My own sister made false accusations against me because I refused to supply alcohol for her party. Part 2. Update 1. Posted on October 11th, 2022. I expected to be able to log out of this account and just not come back. But it seems my sister saw my original post on YouTube. She's since called home and attempted to raise hellfire. She contacted our mother in a furious rage and saying that I've humiliated her. And in a complete shock to me, my mom did not care. My sister told her how to find the post, and she read it, and now she was mad at me. But more so because she felt I made her look like a bad mother all over again. But my dad got involved and said it wasn't like I was lying, because back then the things she and my sister did were inexcusable. My mom agreed in a very sad way, but still said she wished I'd never posted the story. I suppose I couldn't fault her for that. I ended up talking to my sister over the phone because our mom gave her my current number, and the first thing she did when I answered was scream in my ear. I stopped the call because of the screaming, and so the call was followed by a flurry of text messages. My sister demanded I take my original post down. I refused. She threatened to get our parents to make me take it down, but our parents by this time already knew about the post, and among them our dad does not care, and our mom is more mad that I made her look like a bad mother all over again. So she threatened to get a lawyer and sue me for defamation. I told her to go right ahead. My post was made anonymously, and if she sues, then a lot of people are going to find out my post was about her. She asked if that was a threat. I said no, it's just something that'll likely happen if people dig more into both of our pasts. If she starts a lawsuit, it might even affect her career. Rather than responding in text, my sister called me again and I told her I'd hang up and block her if she screamed in my ear one more time. She angrily demanded I just take my original post down again or else. I pointed out that this is the first time we've spoken in 6 years, and she had no problem throwing me under the bus in the past anytime she could. And now she's mad because her own actions are reflecting poorly on her when no one else knows the story was about her but us. And I really didn't care what she thought of me anymore. Dad has pretty much disowned her, and she destroyed all the golden child love our mom had for her. My sister actually denied being a golden child, so I started to explain exactly what one was. She interrupted me saying that she's on Reddit all the time. She knows what a golden child is. And I could only laugh at the fact that she knows that and still denied having been one. I pointed out all the things from my first post, how she lied so much, how she always had our mother on her side, and how she was openly our mom's favorite, and how she expected everything to be handed to her. She was a golden child. There's just no denying that. Well, she took this very personally and said that she wished our mother had aborted me, just like she'd said all those years ago when I refused to take the blame for my sister's crime. I just laughed some more and asked if that was all she had in her little black book of bad insults. She did not find it amusing that I found it so amusing. I fired back about how she is a self-important narcissist, and always will be. She milked our parents for so much, and had no appreciation for it. Right down to that well-paid law office job she's working that dad got her. She scoffed at me and said she got that job on her own merit. I laughed again. No, she did not. Suddenly a well-connected law firm scouted her several states away after college to come work for them when she had no prior experience as an intern. It just doesn't happen. The old CEO of that company was a friend of our dad's before he passed away, and dad called in a favor. That's how she got that job. My sister, of course, went into more denial about the truth I just presented her, but I guess it finally clicked in her mind that I was correct. She's a narcissist, but she's not dumb. So she just started bragging about how well she's been doing at that job. She made it to assistant manager, and is set to be next in line for full manager someday. I was unimpressed, and she demanded to know why. So I pointed out that I've moved on to managing one of Dad's smaller businesses entirely. Sure, it was a technically promotion through nepotism, but I worked hard to earn it, and Dad's openly stated that when he someday passes away, I'm to inherit everything. Not that I'm clamoring for it, like she undoubtedly would. I actually want our dad to live a good long time. She was so angry that she hung up on me and then called our parents again. She asked Dad if she'd really been disinherited, and they confirmed she was. Dad's will is set to leave her only a small settlement so she can't contest it. And if she were to try and contest it, she'd automatically get nothing. Even our mom's will has basically written my sister out. My sister ended up crying and saying it wasn't fair. But both of our parents pointed out that her framing me all those years ago wasn't fair, costing them after they paid so much money to keep her from getting a felony and putting her through 4 years of college was unfair. They had nothing left they wanted to give. My sister ended up blocking us all from phones to social media. We can't see anything now, but we don't really care. My mom has sat me down and gave me a long-awaited, more sincere apology for what happened so long ago, especially for that day she tried to make me take the blame for my sister. Years without my sister in her life, and the recent incident has made her realize more than ever that she was a terrible mother to us both, and she can't undo anything. But she wanted to at least say she was incredibly sorry, and that she loved me. She's just been too ashamed to really show it. She's now finally looking into therapy, and she's even making an effort to spend more time with my dad, like in the old days. It's ironic, really. My sister tore our family apart, and then she somehow put it right back together by being the same kind of nasty person she's always been. So sis, if you see this post, and I bet you will, don't bother trying to contact us again, because if you do, then any more drama you cause is gonna end up right here. So please leave us alone for the foreseeable future. Final update on April 11, 2023. My sister sank to a new low of manipulation with this one. A couple of months ago, she suddenly showed up at our parents' house with a boyfriend in tow and a positive pregnancy test, and saying she was 2 months along. She claimed she wanted to make amends so her child would be able to know their grandparents. I saw this for what it was from the start. My sister went out of her way to get pregnant so dad would put her back in the will, and mom would make her the golden girl again. But things didn't go down that way at all. It was in February when my sister showed up all of a sudden. She'd taken a leave from work to come see us. She even tried to act all smiles around me, but I could still see the hate in her eyes. She still blamed me. She never stopped blaming me, but she pretended that she'd seen the error of her ways. Mom seemed to buy her act, but dad didn't at all, though my parents having a grandchild is something they've been longing for. So they begrudgingly accepted my sister back for the moment, but not without making sure whether or not this was a con. Spoiler alert, it was. My dad suggested my sister take another pregnancy test to confirm. We expected her to protest, but she took the one my dad got and willingly used it. And it was positive. So she was indeed pregnant. My parents asked for some time alone with my sister, so I went home and didn't see them again till the next day's evening. I got the details on what happened from my parents then. The evening before, they'd had a long talk with my sister about all the things she's done, and told her that they will help support their grandchild and set up a college fund for them. But if my sister wanted a place back in the family, then she's going to have to work hard for it and prove she's changed. Because it was obvious with the timing of the pregnancy that she only got pregnant just to try and get back in the family's good graces. She denied this, of course, but her past actions spoke for themselves. Our parents wanted her to seek therapy, both individual and group, with them over video calls, and they also wanted her to apologize to me for what she did years ago, since she always refused to. That's when she finally broke and said that I don't deserve an apology, because I'm the reason she got her life ruined to begin with. Well, my dad didn't let that slide and practically roared at her, and then he told her that she was never grateful for anything they did for her, and that she was only blaming me so she wouldn't have to take fault for her own actions. My mom chimed in and said that she had to realize her own past actions were beyond wrong, like when she tried to force me to take the blame for my sister back then so her baby wouldn't get in trouble, and how she'd said those horrible things to me when I refused. And if she could genuinely admit her wrongs, my sister could too. Well, my sister flipped out and left with her boyfriend. The few times I met the guy, I could tell he was only with my sister for the money, because she treated him like absolute crap. She even elbowed him in the stomach once, right in front of me. Anyway, my sister came back the next day with a long rehearsed apology for them, crocodile tears included. And again, the only reason our parents let her back in was because of her pregnancy. She was set up back in her old room and spent the next few days trying to act all smiles, but her act was pretty bad. She was still expected to give me that long overdue apology, and I met up with her and her boyfriend at a local restaurant our parents picked. We figured if she was to give me anything even remotely genuine as an apology, it couldn't be around our parents. She started off the apology by basically murmuring, and when her boyfriend wanted her to speak up, That's when she elbowed him in the stomach. And hard too. He asked to be excused and left us one-on-one. As soon as he was gone, my sister started what's more of a non-apology, basically saying she was sorry for what happened with trying to frame me, but that it still would have never happened if I'd just gone with it that day and gotten the alcohol for her party. And then we could have both had a great time. I countered that she still didn't get it. She framed me, and when cops were called on her, it had nothing to do with me, so if I had helped that day, then I would have been arrested and charged too. I got up and said she still hasn't changed. She only lives in her little self-important world and then walked out. When our parents learned of this, my sister tried to deny the words she'd spoken to me, but my dad knows the owner of that restaurant. We were seated away from other noisy guests and were put right below a CCTV camera with audio. It caught everything, and my parents had the video within hours from the restaurant owner. They played it in front of my sister and told her this is exactly why she's not getting much in the will. Her child might be, but not her. That's when she threw a tantrum and walked out screaming at them. And this time, she didn't come back. She got in her car and drove all the way back to law without another word to any of us. She later called to say her boyfriend had left her, and she didn't know where he was. As I thought, he was clearly in it for the money, and when their con failed, he cut her loose. So now my sister is around 4 months pregnant with her baby daddy pulling a runner. She's still sending our parents updates on the pregnancy, and my parents are having a very hard time dealing with the fact that their future grandchild is basically being used as an attempted bargaining chip for my sister to worm her way back in. And sis, if you see this post, I did warn you that I'd do this if you tried anything else. You've left our mother heartbroken all over again, our father beyond disappointed, and me as your mental scapegoat because you still can't admit it was 100% your fault you were disowned. You haven't changed a bit, and I doubt you ever will.